Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. It's Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. We are coming to you with a news alert. Actually, it's called breaking news because I didn't change it to news alert. So we are covering this story that Backpage.com, which is the second biggest classified ads site online in the United States, the second biggest after Craigslist. The site, which consists of sites in all different lots of different cities in the country and around the world, was seized by the government today and completely shut down. So you can't get to this site right now. It's been seized by the government and shut down. To show you this, let me show you. If I went and you Google Backpage, if you Google Backpage right now, you Google it and you get some stories about the shutdown, but also Backpage.com is listed as Backpage seizure. And if you click on Backpage.com, you get a gateway timeout. And if I just put in Backpage.com here, gateway timeout. Before I wasn't even getting, before I was able to get to like the different cities page, and then when I clicked on the different cities and the different advertising genres within the cities, I would then get an error message, whereas now, literally, you can't even get to Backpage.com. Now, there was a message posted, which is over my shoulder here, earlier today. Now, I don't know where to find this message at this point. I know if I go to Backpage.com, I just get that gateway timeout. But let me read you the message, and if you give me 1 second, I'll actually pull up a little bit bigger of a. I'll pull up a little bit bigger of a of an example of it for you, so you can actually see it as I read it along with you. Hang on 1 second. Let me get the message up here. Okay, there we go. Oops, I have to just raise it in the frame so you can see it. So we'll start with that. It's kind of a complex story. It's not easy to actually figure out what exactly is going on because the federal government hasn't exactly said why, on what legal grounds they've seized the site. But let's look. This is the message that was posted earlier today. It says Backpage.com and affiliated websites have been seized. Let me make sure you can hear me. Not easy, actually. Yes, you can hear me. And real quick, let me just also pull the Periscope chat up so in case people are saying things, I can hear them or read them when I get a chance to look. Let's look. Hang on. All right. So let's look at this. This is the message that was posted earlier today by the federal government. It says Backpage.com and affiliated websites have been seized as part of an enforcement action by the FBI, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and the IRS Criminal Investigation Division with analytical assistance from the Joint Regional Intelligence Center. Other agencies participating in and supporting the enforcement action include the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Arizona, the U.S. Department of Justice's Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, the Office of the California Attorney General, and the Office of the Texas Attorney General. So we have local law enforcement from, in addition to federal, locals from Arizona, Texas, and California. Additional information will be provided around 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 24 minutes from now. Maybe we'll get more information at 6 ET, by the Department of Justice, and all media inquiries should be directed to U.S. Department of Justice. Thank you, by the way, for the donation. That was Salvatore Plucino, who said, great, going something is about to explode. So now this message from the federal government, that's all we have so far from them. And it says, as part of an enforcement action. It doesn't say what they're enforcing. Now, I've heard some people on social media speculating, hey, didn't Congress pass this new law about websites being liable for sex trafficking ads on their sites? Wasn't that passed like a month ago or something? Well, there was recently a law passed by Congress, but that wasn't signed yet by the president. So that law, real quick, let me just get the name of it for you. There's all these details here. So, but that law was the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. The Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, or FOSTA. And FOSTA was passed by Congress, but it hasn't been signed by the president. So to me, it can't be the case that Backpage.com was shut down because they're enforcing FOSTA, because FOSTA isn't a law yet. The president hasn't signed it. So then the question becomes, what are they enforcing specifically that is allowing them to take down this website? Again, Backpage.com is the second biggest classified website in the country, and it has been totally taken down today. You can't access it by the federal government. Now, also, a little bit of background here. We'll go into some more detail, but some brief background. Backpage.com, like Craigslist, offers all kinds of classified ads, apartments and, furniture and whatever else. But something they have been known widely for is also featuring ads for sex workers, and they've been accused in the past by numerous people of not policing their site well enough to get rid of the child sex trafficking ads and the prostitution ads on their website. So some people have accused them of not doing enough, of maybe even sort of wink, wink, not taking these ads down so they could make money off of these ads. So presumably, their site being taken down today has something to do with some sort of enforcement of some legal action involving sex trafficking and or prostitution. And even in that announcement we just showed you that was on their site today, I'll call it up again here. It says in the second paragraph, other agencies participating in this enforcement action include the U.S. Department of Justice's Child Exploitation and Obscenity section. So there's that, child exploitation and obscenity, but I'm not sure, we don't know yet why this is happening exactly, and it has not been explained yet. So maybe we'll get some more detail in about 20 minutes when the Justice Department says they're going to provide some more information on this. So anyways, and if you go to Backpage.com, as I did before, let me just show you what happens in case you just joined us. Hey, you go to Backpage.com, look. I'll go over here. Backpage.com. Get a gateway timeout. I was a little confused as when you Google Backpage.com, you get this. Hold on. When you Google Backpage.com, and you go to all, you get, it's very, so it says free classifies Backpage.com. And if I click on that, I get gateway timeout. If I go back and I click on, I'm going to click on Los Angeles Backpage. Oh, that's when I get that one. Oh, interesting. So some of the pages have, so Los Angeles Backpage actually has this announcement on it. Do all the city ones have it? Huntsville Backpage. See, if I click on Huntsville Backpage, just nothing happens. It's just a spinning circle. Is it going to load something? It seems like we might be in endless loading land when I click on Huntsville Backpage. Well, that's not helpful. How about Backpage New York? And I get that. There you go, Backpage New York. So all the different sites, either you get gateway timeout or you get this message. And so anyways, I'm going to read you some more stuff. I'm seeing different news stories on this, and I want to get you more information on it. I can tell you this, a little bit of background here, that Backpage did, I think it was in January, take off their adult personal section from their site, but they still had women seeking men section. We also want to take your comments here. So if you have comments while we're on the air, please write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I'd be happy to read your comments on the air as we talk about this. Our viewer, Venomous Heroine, writes in a documentary. She says, A documentary was made on Netflix called I Am Jane Doe about Backpage.com and child sex trafficking. They were not held accountable because they are only a third-party host for the sex trafficking ads. They were not held accountable due to a law in Section 230 CDA. So I haven't seen that documentary, but one thing that Venomous Heroin brings up is there's this debate going on as to whether websites should be held accountable. Like if you're a website that's like a bulletin board website where you're just offering a site for people to post ads, for example, should you be held accountable for the content of those ads, or are you just offering the site to post the ads, and should the people who are being held accountable for ads, say a child sex trafficking ad, should just be the person posting the ad? So there is this controversy out there, and let's see if I can get you a little more background on that. Probably if I look up the FOTSA stuff, I can get you a little more on that. Hang on one second. FOSTA, excuse me. So here's from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which is what our viewer was talking about. And Section 230 says, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. In other words, online intermediaries that host or republish speech are protected against a range of laws that might otherwise be used to hold them legally responsible for what others say and do. So, anyways, that law is in effect right now. But for all I know, there's other laws that have to do with... clearly, there are some laws that the government says they're enforcing by seizing Backpage.com. They just haven't told us what they are. So I'm waiting to see. It's 5:44 now. At 6 o'clock, they're supposed to mention something about, give some more details. So maybe they'll, at 6 o'clock, say, here's the precise law or laws which we are enforcing by shutting down this website today. But I don't know at this point. Also, I should point out that I think one of the CEOs of Backpage's house was raided today. Let me get that up for you here. I do have it here. Here we go. This was posted by Evan Y. Loge, and it says, FBI Phoenix has confirmed that the Sedona, Arizona home of former Phoenix New Times publisher and Backpage.com founder Michael Lacey was raided this morning. One of the founders of Backpage had his home raided this morning by the FBI. Seeing if FBI Phoenix posted anything about it. No, they haven't posted anything about it on their Twitter page, FBI Phoenix. Anyways, write to me if you have comments on this story that we're covering at Lookner on Twitter, and we're taking your comments on the air. Now, one of our viewers, Gestalt Thinker says, LMFAO, Backpage being up this long is insane anyway, human trafficking website. So I'm seeing in our comments opinions from both, a number of different opinions on this. Some of you are very upset about this website being seized by the government, and some of you are saying it's the right thing for them to be doing. So Sarah C. says, good, the FBI is actually doing their job. So she's happy about this. Oh, I also want to show you, I found interesting, it looked like, now I can't confirm these are who the people are, but it looked today like on Twitter a number of, I guess they would be sex workers, were posting on Twitter saying, hey, I can't advertise on Backpage anymore and things like that. But I can't confirm that's what they do, of course, because I don't know. But Let me see if I can find any of those. Now there's a bunch of tweets about it. Oops, I spelled it wrong. That's my problem. So here's a message. Now I have no. This person might not be a sex worker, but she's posting about a message to sex workers, and it says, somebody named Talia says, "Heads up to sex workers in Texas. The Attorney General's office is doing stings through Backpage, and pretty sure they're building a case against Backpage. Please retweet for visibility." Now, actually, this was posted yesterday. It's interesting she posted this yesterday. I wonder if there was some kind of gossip she heard, because she posted this yesterday, and the site was taken down today. Now, this person, who is a gender-fluid porn star, Taste the Moon, she says it's a gender-fluid porn star. She posts, Backpage has just been seized by the federal government and taken down. This is terrifying. So we're hearing a lot of different opinions on this seizure of Backpage by the federal government. Rare Patriot, our viewer writes in Arizona, we use Backpage to conduct legal private firearms sales. Does that have anything to do with the site going down, or is it just because of the sex stuff? We don't know yet, Rare Patriot, exactly why the site has been shut down. The FBI is supposed to announce more in about 11 minutes. They said 6 p.m. Yeah, a question I had about this is, if it is about, why is the whole site be shutting down? If it's about certain sections of the site, if the site's is it something to do with the founders or the people who run the site? Because it seems like, if it's about a certain section or certain ads on the site in a certain section, then there might be other remedies than shutting down the whole site. Now it's just, the problem is we don't know yet why law enforcement has shut down the site. They haven't said that yet. So they say it's an enforcement action. We don't know what they're enforcing yet. So I'm interested in seeing that. But you're pointing out that you in Arizona, people in Arizona use it for legal private firearm sales. Now I've used Craigslist regularly, and I haven't used Backpage. So a question I have is I don't know how much the site is used. It has a reputation for being a place that adult like sex ads run on, but I don't know to what extent that is what percentage of the site usage is people people looking for sex stuff. I don't know. And it has, as I said before, it has a lot of different sections on it, like Craigslist does. So it very well could be the case that there are lots of people who use the site and they prefer it over Craigslist for whatever reason. They use it for non-sex stuff to buy and sell stuff. So I'm interested in knowing. I don't use it much. Maybe some of you can tell me if you use it, to what degree, or if you're just familiar with the site, to what degree, how much of that business on the site, how much of the traffic is focused on the sex ad stuff and how much on other stuff. Because I don't know. So Jared Perry is talking about, he said in the chat room, Craigslist has taken care of most of their illegal listings. So just a heads up on something Craigslist has done. Now, Craigslist is still online. Craigslist did this thing, though, where they not only shut down their adult section, they shut down their personal section. You cannot get personals ads, like dating ads, on Craigslist anymore. And that was because they were worried when Congress passed this new law, which the president hasn't signed yet, the FOSTA law. But let me see if I can find, if I go to Craigslist, if I go to personals, Let's go. Let me pick a big city. New York. New York City. So if I go to personals, I thought it was still up, but there was like, you couldn't, like if you just clicked on the link. Yeah, so you'll see where it says personals. You can't see it. At the bottom, now you can see it. At the bottom, it says personals. So if I click on, say, women seeking men, okay? Look what I get. U.S. Congress just passed FOSTA, seeking to subject websites to criminal and civil liability when third parties, users, misuse online personals unlawfully. Any tool or service can be misused. We can't take such risk without jeopardizing all our other services. So we are regretfully taking Craigslist personals offline, not even like the adult site, just the personal site. Hopefully we can bring them back someday. To the millions of spouses, partners, and couples who met through Craigslist, we wish you every happiness. So what Craigslist did is when Congress passed this act, which has not been signed by the president, so it's not law yet, but recently Congress passed this act, they took down all their personals, and what they said is they said, we can't leave them up because it risks jeopardizing all of our other services, the whole site. And you can see that, it's possible that Backpage.com, the whole thing has been taken down because of some issue with their personals ads. Because right now, no section of Backpage.com is available as of right now. I want to see if I can find anything more about, it's 5:54 p.m. According to the announcement that was made by the federal government, they said at around 6 p.m. on Friday, which is in about 5 minutes from now, the U.S. Department of Justice will provide additional information on this Backpage.com seizure. So maybe in 5 minutes or so, we'll get more information from the federal government on why they seized it. We can guess why they seized it. Maybe it had something to do with the sex ads or something, but I'd like to know the legal reasoning. What specific laws are they enforcing because they say the seizure is an enforcement action. I want to know what specific laws they're enforcing. I'd be interested to know that. Now, let me show you, while we're waiting for the FBI to say something, a couple of articles here. Here's an article from Ars Technica, which is this is a site I like. They talk about a lot of tech stuff. By the way, thank you to our moderators. We have Jude is moderating in the YouTube chat room, and Common Sense and Gleno are moderating on the website. So Ars Technica says, Backpage domain seized by feds, co-founders Arizona home raided. Notorious site had used Section 230 as a shield against state prosecution. And again, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act basically said, well, here's what it says. It says, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. In other words, online intermediaries that host or republish speech are protected against a range of laws that might otherwise be used to hold them legally responsible for what others say and do. So basically, that would imply that if you have an advertising site and somebody posts some sort of ad that's illegal in some way, you're not legally and criminally, you're not treated as legally as the publisher or speaker of that information because you have the platform, but you're not responsible for what people publish. So that's Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, and this story in Ars Technica says, notorious site had used Section 230 as a shield against state prosecution. So it's a short story. It just says here on Friday, federal law enforcement authorities seized Backpage domain names, including Backpage.com and Backpage.ca, Canada, I guess. In addition, the Arizona Republic reported on Friday morning law enforcement raided the Sedona area home of Michael Lacey, a co-founder of the site. For years, Backpage has acted with impunity as a place that offered thinly veiled online prostitution ads. In December 2016, Backpage CEO Carl Ferrer and his co-defendants beat back a state prosecution in California. At the same time, a Sacramento County judge found that they were not liable due to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which acts as a federal shield for websites that post user-generated material, including, apparently, ads for prostitution. A month later, so that's January, they shuttered their adult section. So there was no adult section as of today on Backpage.com, but they still had personals sections. However, with the recent passage of FOSTA and SESTA by both houses of Congress, that shield is about to be removed for sites that allow sex work ads once President Trump signs the bill into law, but it's not the law yet. That new bill is aimed squarely at Backpage. So according to Ars Technica, this new bill, FOTSA and SESTA, is aimed at Backpage. But it's not the law yet, so they can't be enforcing it yet because it's not the law. Neither the Department of Justice nor the California Attorney General's office immediately responded to our request for comment. Hey, thank you for the donation, Andrew Check. He said he tweeted me a link to a still working Backpage site. Let me see, Andrew, if I can find that. By the way, we are viewer supported here. Your donations are what keep us on the air. I can pretty much guarantee you that if you turn on your mainstream media today, you will see basically no coverage of this. I'd be shocked if you saw any coverage of this. If you do, it'll be very short. But we're giving you full coverage of the story. We think it's important. You know, the only important stories in the news aren't just all about President Trump. There are other stories that affect a lot of Americans that aren't about President Trump. We're covering one right here. So if you like that we're covering this and you want to support Right Side Broadcasting, you can do what Andrew Check did. Go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Now, Andrew said he messaged me a site that was supposedly still working on a Backpage site. Andrew, I can't find your message here. Oh, here it is. No, Andrew, I just clicked on your link. Look what I got, Andrew. Wah, wah. Andrew sent me it was like a Raleigh, North Carolina Backpage site. But Andrew, sorry. All gone now. Doesn't work. Hey, it's 6 o'clock. This is when the FBI is supposed to tell us more about why they shut down Backpage.com. So I want to know if they've said anything yet. Nothing yet that I can find, but I'll be keeping a lookout. In the meantime, hey, let me hear your comments. By the way, another thing that I'm seeing, if you want to write and have your comment read on the air, write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner on Twitter. Another interesting thing I've been seeing today on social media is people posting who said, I gave money to Backpage to buy some advertising, and now I can't even get my money out of my account. So, for example, this person just posted, named Jennifer BBW. She said, I just sent Backpage $200 and it was credited yesterday. WTF, I'm scared for my future. Now, for all I know, she's also scared because maybe she was posting ads on personals ads or something. I don't know. But I have seen people worried about money that they'd sent to Backpage to buy, I guess, ads on their site, and they can't access the account anymore. Also up here, this person, Vicious Vivian, says, no more Backpage, goodbye Bitcoin credits. I guess Backpage was only, if I read this right, they were only accepting payment in Bitcoin these days because credit card companies were no longer allowing their credit cards to be used to pay Backpage for ads. So this person, Vivacious Vivian, says, what's next? The censorship and attack on free speech is out of control. So lots of conflicting views on this today. And then I've been seeing messages like this. Again, I can't confirm this is a legitimate message. Maybe it's a hoax. But this person says, Backpage is officially down. If you want appointment, call me, and gives the number. So I'm guessing people were using Backpage to find companionship or whatever, and now they can't find it anymore. So maybe people who were on the site posting are going to social media, other social media now, and posting on it. Andrew just wrote me a message and said, sorry, wrong link. Here's the link that works. Andrew, I clicked on it and that's what I got. Oh, the Honorable 8 Horses wanted me to read the article about them raiding the founder's home. I'll do that. So this was from the Arizona Central today. Also, in addition to shutting down Backpage.com, the FBI raided the Backpage founders' homes in Arizona. It says local FBI officials confirmed law enforcement activity Friday at the Sedona area home of Michael Lacey, co-founder of the controversial classified ads website Backpage.com. There also appeared to be FBI activity at the luxurious Paradise Valley home of Jim Larkin, another Backpage co-founder. Now, I've heard some people on the web today charging that people who ran Backpage were making money off of sex ads and human trafficking ads. I cannot verify any of that stuff, but I've heard that charge been thrown around. But I have no evidence one way or the other on that stuff, but just putting that out there. The raids come amid what appears to be a shutdown of the website. So we already read you the screenshot. Let's see. They've confiscated everything. Cindy McCain, wife of Senator John McCain and an outspoken advocate against human trafficking, said she had heard that federal law enforcement officials had raided not only Lacey's home, but every office of Backpage worldwide. Well, so I can't confirm that worldwide. They've confiscated everything and shut the website down, she said. Cindy McCain called it a good day in the fight against human trafficking. An email sent to Liz McDougall, an attorney for Backpage, was returned as undeliverable. Her email contains a Backpage.com domain, so maybe the Backpage.com emails don't work either. Now, I just want to point out real quick here. I've seen there's a debate out there about whether having a site like Backpage up that allows sex ads to be posted promotes human trafficking or actually helps law authorities crack down on it. I've seen both arguments given. I've seen some people like Cindy McCain say this site is just helping create more child sex trafficking, prostitution, and more victims, whereas I've seen other people say sites like this are good to help law enforcement because law enforcement can look at these ads and get valuable information and maybe help track people down who are caught up in sex trafficking. And so some people claim it's good to have, they'd rather have these sites up than not up, because if not up, they say this will still happen, but you won't be able to help track people down and figure out what's going on by looking at the ads. So there's a debate about that as well. Hey, let's keep reading this article from Arizona Central, though. It says, Backpage started as the literal back page of the New Times filled with classified ads. Lacey and Larkin, former New Times executives who sold off the newspaper chain in 2012, retained the lucrative interest in the Backpage website. So I guess they maybe... So this is how they made their money. The site became dominated by adult-oriented advertising that police, prosecutors, and advocates said were thinly veiled solicitations for prostitution. The adult ads were among the few the website charged users to post. So you did have to pay to post adult ads. Advocates and prosecutors have alleged that Backpage was used to sell underage girls, and that women sold through the ads were coerced into acts of prostitution, elevating the crime from prostitution to the federal crime of sex trafficking. So sex trafficking would involve coercing people into acts of prostitution. A U.S. Senate report released in January 2017 contained internal emails from the company that showed its operators edited ads and created a list of disallowed terms that seemed indicative of prostitution. The Senate report concluded that such actions showed Backpage knew its website was used to facilitate prostitution. So what the Senate report was claiming was that Backpage was like cleaning up its ads that it knew were prostitution ads so they wouldn't get in trouble with the law while still allowing the ads to run. Backpage shut down its adult section the day the Senate report was released, just as Lacey and Larkin appeared under subpoena to testify before the Senate committee. Both men refused to answer questions. The ads that used to appear on the adult section of Backpage, the adult section which has been shut down, with their racy photos, migrated to the singles section in recent weeks in response to a federal law that would have held websites accountable for knowingly facilitating human trafficking. The ads were only allowed to contain a phone number, photos, and links to other websites. Cindy McCain said she had tried to work with Lacey and Larkin to get Backstage to change its business model, but the company consistently refused. I wish that it didn't have to go this far, Cindy McCain said. I wish they would have cooperated with us when we tried to get them to see they needed to stop this. So, as of right now, Backpage.com is shut down. If you go there, hey, I'll show you what happens if you go there again. So if you Google Backpage.com, and you go to free classifieds, Backpage.com, you get gateway timeout. And some of the other Backpage.com websites, like for example, if you go to the Los Angeles Backpage.com, you get this, saying the websites have been seized by the FBI and other law enforcement organizations in a... By the way, the IRS is in there too. So, it says this is an enforcement action, but look at the different entities involved. The FBI, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, so maybe some postal crime they're being charged with. The IRS Criminal Investigation Division, are they charged maybe with not paying their taxes? Also, some local agencies, including the Department of Justice's Child Exploitation and Obscenity section. So we don't know exactly what they're being charged with, what this enforcement action is about. They said around 6 p.m. EST that they're going to be providing, the Department of Justice is going to provide more information. I haven't heard anything yet. It's 6:10 right now. Let me see if there's anything else new that's been released about this. I hope they provide some information soon. Maybe if I go to the Department of Justice webpage. Okay. I found somebody named Melissa Gira Grant who's covering this. Hey, let me show you this. Hang on, folks. She says the charges are about to be unsealed. We can read them live on the air. How about that? So she works at Fair Punishment, and she says charges are about to be unsealed shortly. Hold on. Charges are about to be unsealed shortly regarding Backpage seizure by DOJ. So she says very shortly we will have the charges that we can read about the Backpage seizure. Well, that's good to know. Hopefully we get them soon. I'm looking at her tweets. All right, we'll wait and see. We should be getting any time now the actual legal document which says why they've shut down Backpage.com. Rare Patriot. I just read you an article from Arizona Central. It seemed like a pretty fair article to me. It was pretty factual. Rare Patriot says take Arizona Central with a grain of salt. That publication is full of deranged anti-American writers. Lynn Dole says, regarding Backpage, might not want to show tweet telephone numbers from people. I understand what you're saying, Lynn. Point taken. I did want to show the people who are posting stuff. So, and it is available. These are not people I follow on Twitter. These are things that if you just search on Twitter, you can find these things. So they have made their number public by tweeting it out. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying. Dennis Dixon writes in, Backpage gone in Canada, all Craigslist ads still available, personals too. Well, it's interesting. Are you saying, Dennis, in Craigslist Canada are personals available? Because there are no Craigslist personals available in the United States. They're all gone. Let me check Craigslist Canada. Craigslist Canada. Okay, here we go. Craigslist Canada. Let's pick Montreal. And if I click on personals, now I have, well, it's all in French. That doesn't help me. But personals is down here at the bottom. Recontresse. Let's go to women searching for men. See? Let's see. Maybe it's okay. Let's see. So in Canada, the personal section is still up. It's in America, it's not up because of the worry about the new law that was just passed by Congress and hasn't been signed by the president yet. Interesting. If you have thoughts on this, give me a shout on Twitter. We're reading your comments on the air. As we wait for the release, which is supposed to be any time now, of the federal charges of the federal explanation of why Backpage.com was shut down today. We're waiting to hear that. It's supposed to come out any moment now, and we'll read it on the air. So until then, we're kind of just getting more news about this and getting your opinions on this. One of our viewers, Revier Soul, wanted me to read this article from last October. I won't read the whole thing, but last October, the CEO of Backpage.com was arrested and charged with pimping. That is Carl Ferrer. I don't know what happened with these charges. He was charged with pimping a minor, pimping, and conspiracy to commit pimping. See if I can find anything more about the pimping charges. Carl Ferrer pimping. Well, the case was dismissed, though. Look. Case dismissed. Backpage executives beat pimping charges. Case dismissed. Last month, a California judge, this was in December, tentatively ruled that he would dismiss charges lodged by California's Attorney General against Backpage.com's chief executive and two of its former owners. And actually, this was a year ago. This was over a year ago. So that wasn't that first article I showed you was from a year and a half ago. Yeah, this was Kamala Harris, who is now a senator from California. Kamala Harris filed these charges against Carl Ferrer. But Carl Ferrer beat the charges. Actually, no, because it says California's Attorney General at the time, I believe, was Kamala Harris. Yeah, California's Attorney General and Senator like Kamala Harris. There's all these other details, there's backstory to that, which I won't get into right this moment. Maybe in a few minutes I will, but to not confuse things. So we are still waiting for these unsealed charges against either Backpage.com or people affiliated with it, which are supposed to be unsealed any moment now. We're going to read them on the air as soon as we get them. Matthew O'Buck made a donation. Thank you, Matthew O'Buck. And he said, pimps don't cry. Thank you, Matthew, for the donation. Hang on one moment here. I just want to refresh something real quick. So our plan is as soon the moment that these charges are released by the federal government anytime now against Backpage.com, we're going to read them because we don't know why it's been shut down. All we know is that it's been shut down today due to some enforcement action, but we don't know exactly why. Let me see if Gizmodo has anything new. They have an article about this. Here's the Gizmodo article. Backpage has been seized by the FBI. It was seized by the FBI. The exact reason was not immediately clear. Hopefully we'll know very soon. We know multiple agencies took part in the seizure. Friday's seizure follows the passage last month of the SESTA in the Senate, the controversial. I see we have a black screen on YouTube. Please ignore if you see a black screen on our YouTube broadcast. That's not us doing that. That's YouTube doing it. Ignore it. They refuse to fix it. They seem to only do that to us of all the channels. I wonder why. But just know that if you do see that on your broadcast, we're not going anywhere. Give it a few seconds and it'll eventually disappear. So again, if you see a YouTube black screen, don't worry about it. It's going away. We apologize. We can't do anything about it because stupid YouTube has done that for a year and will never fix it because they hate us. So as I was saying, Friday's seizure follows the passage last month of SESTA in the Senate. This controversial bill, intended to curb online sex traffic, was prompted by a case involving Backpage. A similar bill, known as FOSTA, or the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, was passed by the House in February. The bills have not yet taken effect because President Trump haven't signed them. They have been widely criticized by experts who argue that online classifieds actually decrease violence for sex workers. So some people believe having these online classified ads available actually decrease violence for sex workers. One reason would be that law enforcement can more easily figure out what's going on by having these ads up there and using them to track people down. So there's a debate about that. In recent years, sex workers, and now another reason some people argue that having online personals is a good thing for sex workers is that otherwise they're forced to work on the street. So this says, in recent years, from Gizmodo, sex workers have become increasingly reliant on the internet, both to avoid working on the streets and to exchange information between each other about potentially dangerous clients. That's another thing I read today, another argument says that hey, on Backpage.com, sex workers can tell each other about dangerous clients and safe clients, and they won't be able to do that any longer. So that's an argument that has been given for why actually allowing these ads helps keep sex workers safe. So, but again, arguments on both sides. Hey, thank you for the donation. Margaret Kahn, she said, ask President Trump to pardon innocent Schaefer Cox. I'm not sure what that's about, but it's irrelevant to this, Margaret. But thank you for the donation. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Polo Lavish, for the donation. Polo says, sad day for guys that want to get a quick laid. All right, so we're covering this story. We're waiting any moment now, we should have, I hope, the actual federal charges, the document where the federal government explains why exactly they shut down the federal government. This is supposed to happen. It's supposed to be unsealed any time now. I'm just waiting for it so we can read it on the air for you guys. That's what we want to do. Susan Reynolds says they aren't workers, most are slaves. So that's what Susan says in the YouTube chat. And what Susan's talking about is people who aren't a sex worker by choice, but they are forced to do sex work. That would be human trafficking. And some people say sites like Backpage.com encourage and help human trafficking, and that's why they should be shut down. Okay, I want to see if I can find any updates here. Oh, I was Googling, and I was Googling Backpage.com, and I was like, why am I not getting anything about this? Well, that's why. Doesn't look like they haven't yet. They haven't yet come out with the federal document yet explaining why they shut down Backpage. It's supposed to be any time now, but they have not yet done it. Now, it's interesting. I see posts today, and I'm not sure if they're legitimate posts or not. Like, for example, here's this one. Ashland, I'm so glad that Backpage shut down. Now all of us independent sex workers are finally liberated and can go get real jobs. I guess I'll go work at McDonald's. And that's from somebody named Adorable Ashland. So she says she's a sex worker who posts on, a voluntary sex worker posts on Backpage. I can't confirm that or not. I'm looking for the different, from some different articles here. I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. This is from The Verge. Backpage was the target of allegations that it facilitated sex trafficking and prostitution through its adult section, a controversy that took years to unwind and culminated in the arrest of the company's CEO and eventual removal of the adult section. They told The Verge the FBI can confirm that law enforcement activity is occurring. Last month, Congress passed controversial legislation meant to give law enforcement more power to stop online sex trafficking. Backpage became a central part of the discussion around the legislation, which many sex workers opposed. Write to me if you have comments at Lookner, at Lookner. In our Periscope chat, Tired of the Crap says, this is pathetic in America. If you don't like it, don't buy it or read it or look at something elsewhere. It disappeared on me. Yeah, thank you, Linda, for saying it's very hard for me to see the Periscope chats because they disappear so fast. They're on the screen for like a minute. CAW writes, prostitutes aren't happy. So again, we are just waiting any moment now. We're supposed to get the official explanation from the federal government as to why they shut Backpage.com down today, and we don't have it yet, and we're going to read it on the air as soon as we get it. In the meantime, I want to just maybe read an article about this FOSTA bill that was passed, the FOSTA bill that was passed by the Senate. So this is from the Daily Dot. I don't think they're fans of the bill because they say a controversial sex trafficking bill could hurt the future of the internet. Now, I believe this can't be why the Backpage.com was taken down, because this bill isn't the law yet. The president hasn't signed it. But this bill being passed, these bills being passed are the reason that Craigslist took down its personals in the U.S. So, Sesta Fosta is a mashup of two separate bills. Oh, black screen on YouTube. Amazing. Just amazing. They keep doing it. They'll never stop. I have to talk about that. Look what they're doing on. Hey, by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, guys, so we apologize for those stupid, idiotic black screens that happen on YouTube frequently, which they'll never fix. But if you are watching on YouTube and you're as angry as we are about them, you can always. Hang on. I was going to show you how to complain about them. Yeah, very easy.
The reason that signed it, that was passed by the official.
You can turn off the sound first. There we go. So what you do is you right-click on the black screen. You can just rewind to the black screen, right-click on it, say troubleshoot playback issue, and then you can send a message. A form pops up that you can write to YouTube on. You can say like anything you want. So for the millionth time, you idiots, fix these stupid black screens on the right side broadcasts. I hate your stupid censorship. Just fix it already. Sick of your BS. And you can just press send. There's a send button down at the bottom. Then you can let them know how you feel about it. It's been going on for a year, by the way. They won't fix it ever. So our viewer watching the Watchers writes, as you know, I am sure this is not about willing adults who exchange sex for favors. This is part of the larger scope of slave trafficking, pedophilia, and making contacts for even greater crimes. So, yeah, you know, well, we don't know what this is about at all yet because the federal government hasn't said exactly yet. They're supposed to any time now why Backpage.com was shut down. And I was talking about that new law that was passed, but it hasn't been signed by the president. So that can't be the reason. So maybe this is about child trafficking or whatever. But there's a balance here in terms of if the site is being used to post ads which promote sex trafficking, are those against the law? Is the site responsible, or are the people posting the ads responsible legally? Certainly, I think the vast majority of people, I would hope pretty much all people, would be opposed to human sex trafficking. But there's this question of if ads are being posted which are related to human sex trafficking activity, that's one issue. And certainly someone's doing something wrong if that's happening. But another question is just legally, is the website responsible? We have laws. So the laws exist. The website, Backpage.com's view has always been, we're not doing anything illegal. If you look at the law, we're not doing anything illegal. So I'm interested in knowing what the federal government says they're doing that's illegal and why, on what legal basis, they shut down the site today. I'm sure they have a reason. I want to know what that reason is. So that's what we're waiting to hear. But I was raising the point about the willing sex workers because some people complaining today about this are people who are saying it will make life worse and more unsafe for voluntary sex workers. Now, whether you care about it or not is up to you. I'm just throwing that point out into the arguments on both sides here. So here's what we're waiting for real quick. So Melissa Gira Grant posted 29 minutes ago, charges are due to be unsealed shortly, regarding Backpage seizure by DOJ, I'm sorry. Unsealed shortly. Oh, did she post something after this? Let's see. Nope, that's the last post she made. So hopefully they'll be soon. I'd like to know. In the meantime, you can write me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, as we wait for these federal charges to be unsealed. Master Maddie sent me this. Master Maddie sent me an archived version of the site. So this is what Backpage.com looked like on March 22nd, 2018, a few weeks ago. So this is an archived version. So you can see local places, automotive, buy, sell, trade. I wonder if they have what's in the dating women looking for men, if that's still part of the archive or not. Okay, I agree. So again, we're looking at Master Maddie, one of our viewers, sent me an archived version of the site from a few weeks ago. So here's an example this is Lawrence, Kansas. And these are some of the ads you could find as of, now this says June, so this is July 2017. This is about 8 months ago. The name is Molly, and I can be your daily dose of ecstasy in and out. Enjoy the fun of blonde, sexy, experienced woman. I'll come to you, or you come to me. So these are some of the ads that they had on Backpage as of 8 months ago, and I'm okay. I can show you this one. It's you can see it at the bottom there. There's no nudity in it, but that's an ad. That's an ad somebody posted in Kansas on this service, last year. But they're talking about cuddling and mutual enjoyment and stuff. They don't specifically say great massages, so it's not specifically sex words. But again, this is just an example of what before they took it down, this is what one of the personals pages looked like last year on, I want you, get treated like a king, thick, exotic, and mixed, treat yourself, looking to have some fun. These certainly seem more like hookup ads than like dating ads, most of them. That's interesting. So still waiting here. Anytime now, they're supposed to come out with the federal government's supposed to release their reasoning for shutting down Backpage.com. We're still waiting for them. This is somebody, Elizabeth Nolan Brown, posted about this. Elizabeth Nolan Brown is the associate editor of Reason.com. And she says, I have so much respect for Michael Lacey and James Larkin. While Craig Newmark, bless his soul, would sell out the First Amendment if a breeze asked him to, these two men, who were also the founders of Village Voice, have been personal martyrs for the First Amendment and sex worker rights. She says, if our world turns out not at all dystopian, these men will be remembered on the right side of history. And then she says, just wanted to say this because it's rare that anyone unequivocally sticks up for the people behind Backpage. Things would be different if I had any reason to believe they've condoned sexual abuse and exploitation. I don't, and I guarantee I've read more about this than you. So she doesn't think the people who run Backpage actually have condoned sexual abuse and exploitation. Now, other people think they've actually condoned it and encouraged it because it made their site money. by having these ads on their site. So I don't really know what to think. I'm just showing you different views people have. Our viewer, Pepe did nothing wrong, said, I think I found a Backpage link that still works, cincinnati.backpage.com. But look what I get when I click on it. Same message. Yeah, all the Backpage.com sites around the world seem like they're just gone. So we're, again, I keep repeating this. Any moment now, we're supposed to finally hear from the federal government officially why they shut Backpage.com down. I'm just waiting here to get that so I can read it to you on the air live. Until then, we're talking about this. And we're reading your comments on the air. The best place to reach me with your comments is at Lookner on Twitter. Because if you post them in the chat room, they just fly by. So message me on Twitter. In the meantime, what is going on? Why is it doing that? I'm just trying to search. Here's an article from Deadline Hollywood. Do they have anything more about this? Ooh, this is new. Backpage was reportedly seized under the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act of 2017. Again, Backpage was reportedly seized under the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act of 2017. That seems like new news. We hadn't heard that before. Hey, I'm going to look up that act. Can I find a simple summary of it? Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act of 2017. Oh gosh. No, wait. This is saying it was passed in February of this year. So is this just FOSTA? Now I'm confused. Okay, I'm confused. Because maybe they don't know what they're talking about. Deadline Hollywood says FOSTA was what allowed them to seize the Backpage.com today, but that's not a law yet. President Trump hasn't signed it. Congress has passed it. I don't see. They can't seize a website under a bill that's been passed. It's got to be a law. So maybe that might be. It's Deadline Hollywood. It might be wrong information. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't seen this information anywhere else. I'm going to assume they're wrong. I'm going to assume they have no idea what they're talking about. I'm going to wait for the actual federal government to announce it. Yes, look. As I was just saying, Melissa Gira Grant says, important to say, this seizure happened without SESTA FOSTA. FOSTA is the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. So that new law was not a reason for this seizure. It can't be, it's not a new law. It's a new bill. It's not a new law because it hasn't been signed by the president. Jude just says, I've been there for a while. Jude, what were you talking about, Jude? When you say, I've been there. Someone named Gina Pina on our Periscope was saying, I was wondering if they could seize Facebook. What I was wondering is more about them seizing Craigslist. But the thing is, see, Craigslist has shut down all of their personals ads. They didn't just shut down their adult section. They shut down all of their personal ads because they're worried about the federal government, saying, hey, you're allowing prostitution or sex trafficking ads on your personals and finding a reason to shut Craigslist down. So they have no more personals ads on Craigslist US. Backpage shut down their adult section, but still did allow personals ads, which presumably had a bunch of, sex working ads among them. Somebody in the chat room says the FBI is going to come after me because I keep trying to access Backpage.com. JC and Jude, you're saying I've been confused. I'm not sure. What are you confused about? I'm confused as to what you're confused about. Oh, Melissa. So one of our viewers just told, I stand with Trump, says Melissa Gira Grant just posted an update. Statement from Tech Freedom, which is a post-partisan tech policy think tank. They say this is hold on. Let me go to Tech Freedom. Tech Freedom is a post-partisan tech policy think tank. We embrace technological change, pushing back against the technocrats who fear it and reactionaries who would control it. So they don't like regulation of technology, it sounds like. They came out with this, and it says, this afternoon, U.S. law enforcement seized Backpage.com. The legal basis for the seizure remains unclear, but it could not have been FOSTA SESTA because it has not been signed by the president, which is what I've been saying, and thus has yet to become law. SESTA, which has been passed by Congress but not signed by the president, amends Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act to make websites directly responsible for user content that facilitates sex trafficking, whereas Section 230 had previously immunized websites from civil lawsuits or state criminal prosecution, but not federal criminal prosecution based on user content unless they shared in responsibility for developing that content. So the basic idea of what's being said here is that the law as is was such that like a classified ad site wasn't responsible for people posting ads that had something illegal about them because it was the responsibility rested with the person who posted the ad, not with the site. And SESTA and FOSTA proposes to change that. Oh, I see. He's arguing, look, he's saying Congress just passed this new SESTA bill, which we don't like. And they claimed they needed to pass this bill so they could shut down websites like Backstage.com. But he's saying, but today's domain seizure makes clear that law enforcement agencies didn't need a new law to shut down Backpage. They had plenty of legal tools and just needed to make it a priority. So what he's saying is, this statement is saying he doesn't like this new law that was passed by Congress that hasn't been signed by the president yet, because he's saying it's unnecessary, and he's saying it proves it's unnecessary. What happened today proves it's unnecessary because they could have shut down Backpage even without this law, because they just did shut down Backpage today without this law being the law yet. All right, sorry. That was a whole diversion thing. We still don't have the actual reasoning from what is this? Hold on a second. From the federal government yet. Yeah, it's NRA life member. It's not the law. yet. Our viewer DJ Merrick says, prostitution has been around since biblical times, and that does not bother me. What bothers me is children in cages and people being forced to do things that they don't want to do. That's what needs to be stopped in our world. Thank you, DJ Merrick. So the question here, the legal question here, again, the question is not whether people approve or disapprove of human trafficking. The question here is this website was shut down today. So the question is, why, under what legal basis was it shut down? And is that a legitimate legal basis to shut it down? That's the question. Regardless, you might think this website was promoting human trafficking, and I don't like this website. But that's not a legal reason. To shut down a website like the government did, you need a law which allows you to do that, a law which the website was breaking. And the big question is, what is the government's legal reasoning for doing this thing? We have not heard it yet. They're supposed to come out with it, and they haven't come out with it yet. So I'm here waiting for it so I can read it to you. Arizona native sent me this, posted by Evan Y. Loge. Yeah, see, look, Evan Y. Loge said an hour ago, there are charges and they will be unsealed in 30 minutes. So, and they haven't been unsealed yet. Reportedly said an hour ago. Oops. DOJ reportedly said an hour ago that charges against Backpage would be unsealed in 30 minutes, but no charges yet. So that was an hour ago. Evan Y. Loge said they will be unsealed in 30 minutes. That's what he'd heard. But nothing yet. So we're still waiting. I don't know why it's taking so long. Why is it taking so long? Cliffy Fresh says, I don't condone sexual exploitation, but this is a freedom of speech violation. It's a modern day sting operations for Leo's Backpage. Thank you, Lars Anderson. Lars Anderson made a donation says, Trump POTUS best ever. Thank you, Lars Anderson. By the way, to know when we're coming on the air with these live streams, we do them all the time, subscribe to us and follow us on our social media. So on YouTube, we're at Right Side Broadcasting. Click the notifications bell when you subscribe. Facebook, we're at Right Side Broadcasting. On Twitter, we're at RSB Network. And on Periscope, we're at RSBN TV. You can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I post about breaking news all the time, at Lookner on Twitter. Ed from Vegas says in our Periscope chat room, there is no more freedom of speech. Pape says, what's Backpage.com? Hey, you know what? We haven't summarized what's going on in a little while, so let's summarize what's going on. Backpage.com is, or was until today, the second biggest online classified ads site on the internet in the United States. It's a big classified ads site. So maybe I can even show you an example of it real quick. So this is what Backpage used to look like when it was no longer down. This is an archived version. So you could go to a particular city's Backpage. They'd have rental ads, musician ads, automotive ads, community ads. So Backpage, again, very large site. But one of the things it was really known for, and maybe the thing it was most known for, was its personal ads section, which reportedly contained a lot of ads for sex. So it has been, people over the last several years, a number of people have complained that basically Backstage was a place where prostitutes and human traffickers were advertising with sex ads. And some people complained that Backstage.com was facilitating illegal sex work like prostitution and human sex trafficking and child sex trafficking by allowing these ads on their site. So a number of legal actions had been taken against Backpage.com, but none of them had stuck. As far as I'm aware, they'd been charged and had lawsuits filed against them and criminal action filed against them, but none of it had stuck. And judges had always ruled that Backstage wasn't doing anything illegal by allowing these personal ads on their site. But what happened today this whole site was shut down worldwide. So when you go to the site now, you don't get the site anymore. You get this. Backpage.com and affiliated websites have been seized by the federal government. So a number of FBI has been working with U.S. Postal Inspection Service, IRS Criminal Investigation Division, different state authorities, Department of Justice Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section. So Backpage.com has been completely shut down worldwide, as far as we can tell. But the government hasn't, they say it's an enforcement action, so they're enforcing some law, but we don't know what the law is. And they were supposed to say around 6 p.m., it's now 6:54, they were supposed to release their explanation of why they shut Backpage.com down, their legal explanation. It's supposed to come any moment now. We're waiting for it. They originally said 6, then they said sometime around 6:30. Now it's 6:54. We're still waiting. So as soon as I get that, I can read it to you and tell you why they shut down Backpage.com, but we don't know why legally they shut down Backpage.com because they haven't said so yet. So that is what we're waiting on. They also raided the homes, reportedly, of a couple of the founders of Backpage, or at least, I think one founder and somebody else who was a founder or one of the people who helped run Backpage.com. SoCal Boho Gal writes, those people running Backpage must have been directly involved in child trafficking. Thus the seizure of their servers. Time to take them down. They have a history. Save the kids. Don't give them bail. Disney next? Well, we don't know, SoCal Boho Gal. We haven't heard what anybody's charged with yet, so we'll see. Oh, TwistX just sent this to me. I think we have it. No, TwistX, you sent me a link. You sent me some news. So nothing yet. TwistX says 7 people have been indicted, but TwistX, where are you getting this from? I don't know where you're getting this from. By the way, Melissa Gira Grant replied to my post and said she got the same email. Hang on, I'll show you. Let me show you what she said. So I had posted that another reporter said an hour ago that charges against Backpage would be unsealed in 30 minutes and no charges yet. And Melissa Gira Grant just posted she got the same email. So she was told at 6 o'clock that they would have charges in a half hour. I hope this means there's not some issue with the charges. I would think that, if they shut down the website today, the charges should already be prepared because they can't shut down the websites without having a legal rationale for doing it. So to me, if they shut down the website, the charges should just be ready to go because that's why they're shutting down the site. So I don't see what the delay would be in releasing the charges. I don't understand that. I mean, to me, the charges already had to be ready to go. Oh, look, it's another black screen on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. You always black screen our broadcasts. Now I'm going to have to explain to people watching on YouTube not to worry about the black screen. Oops, hang on a second. Hang on here. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm trying to comment in the chat room. Give me 1 second here. So if you see a black screen on YouTube, just ignore it. We're not going anywhere. They frequently do that to our broadcast. It stays on for a few seconds. I can't comment in the chat room right now because YouTube is acting all crazy. Sorry, folks. At least I can see the chat room, but I can't comment. So again, if you see a black screen on YouTube, ignore it. It's stupid YouTube. They've been doing it to us for a year. It'll be there for a few seconds and it'll disappear. So we're waiting right now. Again, the federal government seized Backpage.com today. They shut down the whole website worldwide, as far as we know, worldwide. They haven't explained why they were going to do it. They initially said in this notice here, they said we're going to explain at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. came, no explanation. They said then at 6:30. 6:30 came, no explanation. So we're still waiting. We're going to read it to you as soon as we get it. Somebody said I should look at az.com. I think. No, it couldn't have been az.com because that's Arizona Central. It disappeared really quick. When you post on Periscope, it disappears right away. Oh, they have something about the indictment. Okay, here we go. Thank you. We have some news here. We have some news for you. Backpage.com shut down by FBI, several indicted on crimes related to sex trafficking. Hey, it's another black screen on YouTube. 7 people have been indicted on 93 counts of different crimes related to the classifieds website Backpage.com. The crimes include money laundering and running a website to facilitate prostitution. As I said before, guys, I apologize. Please ignore the black screen on YouTube. It's so annoying, but they keep doing it. So I'll repeat. According to azfamily.com, 7 people have been indicted on 93 counts of several different crimes related to the classifieds website Backstage.com. The crimes include money laundering and running a website to facilitate prostitution. But there's nothing else here. Where I want to know where they're getting this from. The charges were, hold on. Where's this document that they have? I want to get the document myself. Hang on, folks. It'd be nice if I could get you the actual document so I can show it to you. It looks like, let me continue reading that article. I don't know where they're getting this information. They say, so again, 7 people have been indicted on 93 counts of several different crimes related to the classifieds website Backstage.com. Mr. B from Canada, thank you for the donation. He says, hi, Steve. Thank you, Mr. B. The FBI confirmed that they raided the homes of Michael Lacey, the founder of Backpage.com. It's not clear immediately how many have been arrested in the investigation. Okay. That doesn't explain why they shut down the website exactly. The site allows users to post ads for escorts. and investigators say many of the ads are actually for underage girls. The FBI seized the website because it was allegedly being used to facilitate crime. So I don't know, maybe they have talked to the FBI because we haven't seen this yet. They're saying the FBI says they seized the website because it was allegedly being used to facilitate crime. I sort of want to know what the legal reasoning here is on this. The FBI has done this before with other sex trafficking websites and online pharmacies. But like what I'm wondering is, so if they find one ad on any Craigslist site in the world that could arguably be used to facilitate crime, can they shut down all of Craigslist? So I'm more interested in knowing the reasoning behind that. There are 17 victims named in the documents who are both adults and children who say they were forced into sex trafficking. Now, how are they arguing that Backpage.com has involvement in this? The charges were filed in Arizona because the website was founded and is maintained here and is also where Backpage.com servers are located. The Department of Justice says almost every single sex trafficking case involves online ads, mostly from Backpage.com. According to the DOJ, the biggest issue with these websites is that it facilitates sex trafficking for people who would have been too sheepish to pursue sex on the streets, especially to look for children. Huh. Well, that doesn't make it sound like the website is actively setting this stuff up. Sounds like they're saying the website is enabling it. I wonder about this. So I want to get more on this. I need to know more about their legal reasoning here. I also want to send this link to, what's her name, Melissa Gira Grant. I don't know if she's seen it yet. Sorry, I'm sending it to Melissa Gira Grant. Jude in our chat is asking about executive order. Executive order. What does that, about a Trump executive order on sex trafficking or something? Is that what you're asking about? Is this what people are asking about in the chat room? Trump targets human rights abusers with executive order? It declared a national emergency and imposed sanctions on 13 individuals. That wouldn't have anything to do with what happened today. Nothing in that executive order seems relevant to what happened today. It's just some sanctions, it looks like. We're still waiting. We're still waiting to get the official word from the Justice Department why they did this. Let me just fix this real fast. Okay, now I think I can actually post in the chat room, in the YouTube chat room. No, I can't. Let me fix this. See if this works. Sorry, folks. I'm just fixing this so I can actually post. YouTube had locked me out, so I couldn't even post in the YouTube chat. Now I can. Okay, that's better. Wonderful. All right, so here's the latest. I apologize this is taking so long. It really shouldn't be taking so long. Let's see. Oh, there's this other executive order people might have been asking about. Just in, Trump signs executive order demanding that DHS expeditiously end catch and release practices. So I'll have to look at that later. You know, it's not really relevant to this story. So we try to keep the streams on one topic here. So right now we're focusing on Backpage.com, and we are still waiting for the federal government to explain exactly why they shut down the website, Backpage.com. And there was this article that I showed you in ArizonaFamily.com where they seem to have some information about it, but it was very incomplete information and certainly wasn't a legal document. So maybe they've been told something by an FBI source, but we were supposed to get the legal document at 6 p.m. and then 6:30 p.m. and it's still not there, and I have no idea why it's so hard for them to produce this document when they've already shut down the website. So whatever reasoning they had in place to shut down the website had to be in place before they shut it down today. So I don't see what's so hard about just releasing that document to the public. People keep, let me go, look, people keep, I read the story about the executive order, and nothing in that story said it was anything to do about this website, okay? But I'll go to it again just to look it up, just so people don't stop yelling at me. Because I don't want people to keep yelling at me and harping on it. Here it is. Okay, let's look. This is the executive order people keep yelling at me about and asking if I'm an idiot because I don't know that this is why this was shut down today, which I don't think it was. So let's read it, okay? I find that the prevalence blah, 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 blah. None of this has anything to do with, none of that first paragraph has anything to do with any legal action taken. I therefore determine that serious blah, blah, blah would constitute an unusual threat to national security. Okay, here's the order. All property and interests that are in the United States and hereafter come to the United States are after blah, 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 blah. May not, so this is about sanctions. Persons listed in this annex, any foreign person, any person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with Secretary of State and Attorney General to have, okay, I'm reading. This looks to me like a certain set of sanctions on people which has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on today. And I'll read you a story. I mean, if you can find the place in here, I just read it over quickly, but it just doesn't seem to have anything to do with what's going on with this Backpage.com. And look, here's a story about it. Trump sanctions Myanmar general others for global corruption and human violations. These are sanctions. What happened today was not part of a sanction. It was them applying a law to some individual who supposedly, or website that broke the law. So look, President Trump announced sanctions against 13 individuals for human rights violations and corruption, including a Myanmar general accused of ethnic cleansing. He signed an executive order announcing the new sanctions, which also target 39 entities and individuals under the Global Magnitsky Act. So this does not have to do with what happened today, okay? Are we clear on this? Are we clear? So stop yelling at me that I'm ignoring this. Thank you. Sorry. Everybody kept yelling at me, though. Still waiting for the Justice Department to release their reasoning why Backpage.com was shut down. We're waiting so we can read it. I don't know what the delay it is. Oh, is this a new post? So I messaged Melissa Gira Grant that article that a couple of you had sent me that we read from the Arizona paper about with some updates on this, which I don't know where they got it. And she just posted after I messaged her one news story updated with a few minutes ago with some details on charges and Backpage seizure, but no citations and no complaint itself. So they don't say where they got this, and we still don't have the actual criminal complaint. So we're still waiting here, like she is, to find out why the government did this. Hang on one second. I'm letting her know that we're on the air covering this. All right, so let's take a moment here and sum up what's going on right now. Thank you for staying with the broadcast. I didn't think it'd take so long to get you the details about this, but Backpage.com, which is the second biggest classified ads website in the country, has been completely shut down today by the federal government. It's been seized and shut down. We don't know exactly why. They said they were initially going to announce it at 6 p.m. That's gone. Then at 6 p.m. they messaged some journalists and said it was going to be by 6:30. That's gone. We still don't have their official explanation of why they've shut down the websites. There's an article, presumably it has something to do with the fact that Backpage.com frequently runs ads, classified ads, that involve that are I guess veiled. A number of them are veiled ads for sex workers. They've been accused of running ads for like child sex workers or human trafficking operations. And they've received criticism by some people think that their site inadequately polices their ads, that they make money off of their personal ads, and also that their site ends up promoting and helping create more human sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, prostitution. But they've been charged with some crimes, and there have been some criminal charges, and there's also been some lawsuits, but none of it's ever stuck. But today, the federal government just shut down the website. But I'm really interested in knowing under what law was this done. Now, some people have claimed, it was done under that law that Congress passed like a month ago, that new FOSTA law, but that is not FOSTA-SESTA is not a law yet. That hasn't been signed by the president yet, so it couldn't have been done under that because that's not a law yet. So really interested in knowing what the legal reasoning is behind the specific legal reasoning, saying we're shutting down the website because Backpage.com violated this law or laws, and this law or laws gives us the legal right to shut down the website. That's what we're waiting for. Supposedly there's a document that's going to come out and explain all that, but we haven't seen it yet, and it keeps getting delayed. So we're just waiting for it. As soon as I have it, I'll read it to you. I want to know what it says. Also, and let me show you, the one piece of information we have is this article from Arizona Family, and who knows where they got this information. Do they have somebody on the inside? But they seem to have some information about these charges today, but I don't know how they got it. So this article that they updated says it was several indicted on crimes related to sex trafficking. It says 7 different people have been indicted on 93 counts of several different crimes related to the classifieds website, Backpage.com. Now, even if that's true, that doesn't say why Backpage.com got shut down. Give us the legal reasoning. It's been shut down by the FBI. The site allows users to post ads for escorts, and investigators say many of the ads are actually for underage girls. Now, this isn't illegal reasoning. This is what the article says. It says the FBI seized the website because it was allegedly being used to facilitate crime. So what we would need to know is, how exactly was the website being used to facilitate crime, and under what law are they allowed to seize the website? That's what I'd like to know. I'm guessing they have some reasoning here, but I just don't know what the reasoning is, so that's what we're waiting for. The FBI has seized sites before for this reason with other sex trafficking websites and online pharmacies. However, were those... Well, anyways, I just, I want to wait for the document to come out. And it says there are 17 victims named. Now, it seems like they have documents from the Department of Justice. They say there are 17 victims named in the documents. So I guess they have the documents. Where did they get the documents if they haven't been publicly released? 17 victims named who are both adults and children who say they were forced into sex trafficking. Then they say, according to the DOJ, the biggest issue with these websites is that it facilitates sex trafficking for people who would have been too sheepish to pursue sex on the streets, especially to look for children. Now, is that the reason they shut the site down? Because they say the site, because it's allows the site makes people feel more safe about pursuing this? And is that legally enough justification to shut the site down? I don't know. This is my question. So a lot more to be talked about here when we get the DOJ document. The Department of Justice says the site has earned $500 million in revenue from prostitution since it was created. Also, there have been previous cases against Backpage.com that were all thrown out. A report... We talked about this earlier, released by a U.S. Senate subcommittee in early 2017, stated that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's data indicates that 73% of the child trafficking reports it received were related to Backpage.com. The thing is, the site claims that they're not doing anything illegal. Look, site executives say they are protected by the Communications Decency Act, which regulates pornographic material on the internet. Executives argue that the law states Internet publishers cannot be held liable for content created by third parties. That's Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which says, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. In other words, online intermediaries that host or republish speech are protected against a range of laws that might otherwise be used to hold them legally responsible for what others say and do. Now, this law has not been changed. The new laws that would supersede this law in some ways that were passed by Congress have not been signed by the president. So my question is, under what law or laws was the site shut down today? And that's the big question we're waiting for. And we're just waiting for this document still from the Department of Justice explaining this. I know I keep saying that. I'm sorry, but that's what we're doing. Maybe it's come out already. Let's see. No. Don't see anything about it. Rachel says, Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act passed a couple weeks ago. Maybe that one. No, Rachel, that's what I was talking about. That is not the law yet because it hasn't been signed by the president. So this could not have anything to do with that. Oh, let me read this. Hold on one second. Hang on one second. think I might have, let's see. Here we go. I wanted to show you this. One of our viewers wrote to me. Who sent me this? Hang on. Who sent me? Let me just give a shout out to Ana Faria sent me this. National Center for Missing Exploited Children posted this 43 minutes ago. It says, the National Center for Missing Exploited Children just learned that Backpage.com was seized by the FBI, IRS, and U.S. Postal Inspection Service with analytical assistance from the Joint Regional Intelligence Center. This is another step in the years-long fight against the exploitation of child victims who were bought and sold for sex on Backpage.com. NCMEC is waiting alongside the rest of the world to see what will come next. We stand by the victims and their families as they process this news and continue to fight for justice against those who profited from their abuse, sex trafficking. Now, I will have you know, there are a number of people who I think might not approve of Backstage.com, but don't think they're doing anything illegal. So when we hear the charges from the federal government, which we haven't heard yet, there very well might be a number of people who say, I don't think they legally had the right to shut down Backpage.com, even though I totally hate Backpage.com and wish it would go away. It's one thing to not like a website and think it's bad. It's another thing completely to address the question of whether the law allows the federal government to seize and shut down a website. And what I'm interested in is under what legal reasoning the federal government is shutting down this website. And we're still waiting. They said it was going to be 6. See? They said in there, when you go to Backpage.com, you get this message and it says, additional information will be provided around 6 p.m. EST on Friday. And then around 6 p.m., they didn't come out with the information, but what they did do is, as I said before, they told people like Evan Y. Loge, hey, it'll be unsealed in 30 minutes. You'll get the charges in 30 minutes by 6:30. They told another reporter that as well, who I'm following on Twitter. But 6:30 came and went. That was Melissa Gira Grant. She said she got the message too from DOJ. That was 6:30 came and went. It is now 7:24. Still no official documentation from the Department of Justice. So I don't know what's taking so long. I don't really understand what's taking so long. Let's see. And guys, Joe sent me another message from somebody who says, Steve isn't paying attention. Congress passed the controversial Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act. That's why it was done today. Guys, just to repeat, the president has not signed that, so it is not the law. To become a law, the president has to sign it. So you can please stop saying I'm an idiot. And somebody said, Steve won't allow himself to be wrong. That's what they said. No, that's not the case. I allow myself to be wrong, but I am not wrong about this because it's not the law yet. So again, this law was passed by Congress, but it hasn't been signed by the president. The recent one that would amend in part this, but that law that was passed that would amend to a degree Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act is not the law yet because it's not been signed by the president. Okay, I'm just checking here. Still nothing from the Department of Justice. Nothing. Why would it? See, now when it starts taking this long, now I start thinking like there's something weird going on. Like, as I explained before, look, they have to have their reasoning down pat for why they're seizing Backstage.com before they do it. They took down the website today. So they have to know exactly why they're doing it legally before they do it. So it shouldn't be they don't have to figure anything out after they've seized the web. It's not like they seize the website and then say, what legal reasoning should we come up with for doing that? It's done. They can only seize the website once they have their legal reasoning all figured out. So there shouldn't be an issue in getting this out. And so they initially say in the announcement on the Backpage.com website, we're going to come out with it at 6 o'clock. Then at 6, they message a couple journalists and say, oh, we'll have it by 6:30, and now it's 7:27. They don't have it out yet. That makes it seem like something weird is going on. I don't know. Are they looking at the legal document and saying, wait a second, there's some problems with our legal reasoning, we got to rewrite it? That would be obviously be very bad. I hope that's not happening. Are they trying to bury the story by delaying its release? Will they come out with it at like midnight tonight or something? I don't know. It just seems like they don't have to make copies. They can just send out a PDF file. So I just don't understand why it's taking so long. It starts, honestly, it starts making me suspicious. It starts making me think that they're thinking there's something wrong with the legal reasoning and they're rewriting the document, which they shouldn't be doing because that legal reasoning should be all set in stone before they shut down the website. So I don't really see what the delay is here and why they're doing it. And I hope it's not anything, where they're rewriting things or they didn't really have their legal reasoning together before shutting down a website that lots of people use. But I don't know. I don't really see what the delay would be on this. Monchichi says because it's not a priority. But they already said, 6 p.m. EST, and then they said 6:30 EST. So they said it. I didn't make them say 6 p.m. first in this. I didn't make them post a message on the website today that said 6:30. I mean, it said 6, and they're the ones who posted 6. See, it says 6. They posted that, not me. And then at 6, I didn't make them email multiple journalists at 6 and say, oh, we'll have it for you in half an hour. I didn't make them do that. They chose to do it. So they're the ones who specified the time, not me. Banshee 101 says, how often have you frequented Backpage, Steve? As I said before, I've actually never had used Backpage, which it was unfortunate in the sense of I don't really have a sense of... Backpage has lots of sections besides personals ads, but I don't know to what degree. We had a viewer write in before saying in Arizona he and others use it to legally carry out transactions about guns, like buying and selling guns. But I don't know to what degree the ads are they mostly sex ads or 20% sex ads? I don't know on the site what it's like there. Let me see if I see anything else here that was posted recently about this. Our viewer, Mistress Genevieve, she writes and says, this is likely still an unlawfully enforcement of SESTA. The IRS gets involved when they are having a hard time finding legitimate charges strong enough to stick or evidence to support their accusations. That's what one of our viewers says. Mauga Media, one of our viewers, says no special law required to shut down the website to gather evidence from service devices. All activity will be stopped. Standard operating procedure. Well, if that's why they shut down the sites to gather evidence, that means that they can put the sites back up once they're done gathering evidence. I would think, but I'd like to know that. We don't know why they've shut down the sites at this point. We literally have no idea because they haven't told us. We have that one article claiming on ArizonaFamily.com why they shut down the site, but I'm not going to rely on just that. Cliffy says 6 p.m. PT. No, Cliffy, that's not what it says, Cliffy. It says 6 p.m. EST. That's what the original announcement said. 6 p.m. EST. See, at the bottom, 6 p.m. EST. That's what it said. Kathy Smuskowitz says, hey, Steve, I have to chuckle a little here. First, you're waiting for the feds. They operate on their schedule. Second, it's Friday. It'll be out eventually. Charlie Fraley says, I've never heard of Backpage until today. Claudia says, QAnon mentioned it's not 6 p.m. on West Coast, but that's not, they've been saying East Coast. John says, because of the delay, make them pay for dinner at Applebee's for you. Deplorable Sandy says, Steve, the president doesn't have to sign a law. He just has to not veto it in a certain length of time. The new laws are past that time. I don't believe, I have to look that up, but I've seen numerous reports say that the president hasn't signed that law yet, and it's not the law yet. See if I can find you a recent one. See, this came out on March 29th. And on March 29th, it said, this is from The Guardian. On March 29th, it said, Donald Trump seems likely to sign these anti-sex bills into law, which means he hasn't done so yet. And they haven't become law yet. I'm trying to find you more information on that. This is from Engadget, and this was from March 30th, and they said, look, the bill is on its way to be signed into law by Trump. That was on March 30th. So nothing in any of these articles about Trump having the bill become law because he didn't sign it. Yeah, and look at this. Look, FOSTA was passed on March 21st. If it was really the case, as some of you say, that it automatically would become the law after 10 days if he didn't sign it, why on March 29th and March 30th are major publications saying, well, the bill's on its way to sign? No publication said something like, oh, if President Trump doesn't sign it by tomorrow, it's the law now. Nobody said that. So I don't know exactly how that whole thing works about the president not signing something in 10 days, but no one's been mentioning it in any of the major news sources. And they've all talked about President Trump hasn't signed it yet, but it seems like he might sign it. Anyways, so I'm going to assume that it has nothing to do with that. What would be nice is the Department of Justice actually released hey, look what happened. It's a black screen on YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for black screening our broadcast. By the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, here, just do this. It's so annoying. Screen. So that's what YouTube does, is they put this black screen on. So if you see the black screen and you're watching on YouTube, go back to it, pause on the black screen, right-click, say troubleshoot playback issue, and say you can write. It gives you a feedback form, and you can just write your feedback. You stupid idiots! Stop censoring right side with these stupid black screens. Why can't you morons fix this? Do something. And just press send. They'll ignore it. They'll throw it in the trash. Probably not read it, but it's fun to do anyway. So we apologize for that. It's not our fault. It's YouTube's fault. They never fix it. It's not the December, all right, for the last time, it's not the December executive order. That's not about this. We already talked about December executive order. Stop messaging me about the December executive order. I'm not going to read those messages anymore. This is not about the December executive order. That has nothing to do with this. And it's not about the FOSTA law, because it's not that. So please don't message me about any of that anymore, because I'm literally going to skip over your messages. I've explained it. I've gone through. It's not about the executive order. It's December. That's not about this. And it's not about FOSTA, because it's not the law yet. Okay, I'm literally not reading the messages about that anymore. I'm done. I've had 2 hours reading those messages telling me I'm an idiot because I'm avoiding this. It's not right. I'm done reading them. Mistress Genevieve says, you're right that it's not the law yet, but that doesn't mean they're not acting upon FOSTA. But they can't act on something legally if it's not the law yet. They can't act on something that the Congress has passed but the president hasn't signed. Here's something helpful. Wilfred writes in that the sex trafficking bill is H.R. 1865 and was sent to the president on April 3rd. Oh, that could be helpful. Wilfred made a donation too. Thank you, Wilfred. Let me see this. Fantastic. Wilfred has proven that this is not the law yet. So a number of you have written to me and said, like, hey, if the president doesn't sign a bill within 10 days, it becomes a law. There's some provision about that. I'll show you. President doesn't sign bill in 10 days becomes law. Look. I can't find it easily. Yeah, here we go. I mean, I'd have to find the place where this actually is, but This person on Quora says, if he does not sign the bill after 10 days and Congress is still in session, it becomes law by the default. I believe somebody sent me something from the Constitution talking about that. But anyways, look when this bill was sent to the president. Look, everyone. See, now we can stop talking about this. Where'd it go? Look. As Wilfred says, presented to the president on 4/3/2018. So everyone that's been yelling at me that I'm an idiot because this is now a law because it's been 10 days and the president hasn't signed it, you are wrong. I am right. Yes, I was right the whole time and you're wrong. Oops, and I hit my light. Anyways, so now we can ignore that it's this. The Sesta Fosta was presented to the president on April 3rd. He has 10 days to sign it. So even if you're correct that it becomes law after 10 days, it is not the law yet. Thank you, Wilfred. Great. So we've dealt with that. Thank goodness. The stream has now just become people yelling at me that it's the Fosta Sesta law or the executive order from December that's responsible for that. That's the legal justification for them shutting down this website and me insisting it's not and no one listening to me. So when the people who are yelling at me that I'm an idiot and that's the December executive order, that's a December executive order, which is not, that's responsible for this. When the Justice Department finally comes out with their reasoning and it doesn't mention the December executive order, what are you going to do for me? Are you going to send a big donation to Right Side? I hope you do. You should pay me for all the mental distress you've caused me over the last 2 hours. Speaking of which, but thank you, Wilfred. That was very helpful. Now, I give people credit for finding that part of the Constitution which says bills can become law after 10 days if the president doesn't sign it, but didn't apply here. I mean, it doesn't apply because it was only presented to him a couple days ago. So a perfectly reasonable line of inquiry. Oh, look, black screen on YouTube again. Please ignore the stupid black screens on YouTube. Another black screen, guys. Sorry. YouTube just keeps doing that to us. They hate us. They just hate us. They'll never stop. They never acknowledge it. And they never fix it. They suck. They really suck. Yes, YouTube does suck. I'll say it. You know I'm right. Okay, we're still waiting, guys. Department of Justice, maybe they think they can wait us out. Maybe the Department of Justice, they're watching this broadcast and they're saying, as soon as they go off the air at Right Side, we'll release our legal reasoning for shutting down Backpage.com, so they can't talk about it. But we're gonna wait them out. Thank you, Tara, for the donation. We appreciate it. I was sent a link by, where is it? Thank you, Deplorable Sandy, for that link about how the bill becomes a law. I wanted to find the part of the Constitution where it mentions that. Here we go. Well, how a bill becomes a law. If the president takes no action at all and 10 days passes, not including Sundays, the bill becomes a law without the president's signature. Stormwatcher made a donation, said, great job, black screen, damn YouTube. Thank you, Stormwatcher. Gay Patriot is very mad at me now. Gay Patriot says, not all of us have been here since the start of our stream. Stop treating your viewers like this, Steve Lickner. How rude. I'm sorry. I apologize if I offended anybody. But people just kept telling me I was an idiot and acting like I didn't know anything. So it gets frustrating after a while. But I understand. So I apologize if somebody had just joined. Okay, we are still waiting here. How are we still waiting? This was supposed to come out at 6 p.m. and then they said at 6 it was going to be 6:30. We're still waiting for the Justice Department to tell us why they shut down this site. Melissa Gira Grant just posted something. She's been following the story. Let me see what she just posted. She says, wild story from the comments. In our comments, a first-person account of the FBI raid seeking Backpage's computers. So there was a raid today seeking Backpage's computers. And it says, hang on a second here. Today's raid in Tucson's premier co-location facility. 5 FBI and 1 IRS Treasury agents showed up, armed with a search and seizure warrant and some sidearms. We were impressed that they can wear 5'11" tactical pants in the hot Arizona heat. They were professional, courteous, and allowed us to contact the point of contact for Backpage's hosting provider. We merely provide the co-location data center space, not the centers or content. They took all the servers offline, extracted from racks, photographed them, and took them away. I offered to get them stock shots of other servers, since servers from the outside don't really tell you anything about content on the inside or who posted it. Also, in the warrant, they intend to seize the criminal intent of the mind, but it wasn't clear of whose. I asked about how they intended to do that and got a smile. And now there are reports they also raided the Backpage founders' homes. I have to wonder why today, Ehud. So that's a little message about supposedly from a location affiliated with Backpage where they seized stuff today, servers or whatever. They said in the warrant, the warrant says they intend to seize the criminal intent of the mind. If you want to read that, go to Melissa Gira Grant on Twitter, and you can find it there on her page. Clifford says, look up RICO Act, Steve. There does not have to be new laws for everything. They were shut down for money laundering and promoting prostitution. Why don't you understand here? CBS has a site and so do others. I never said there wasn't an existing law. I've been the one saying that they clearly were using some existing law. I just want to know what existing law they're using. I didn't say there's no law. There has to be a new law for everything. I think 50% of the messages I'm getting today tell me I'm being an idiot. Thank you. Purple Crow sent me a supportive email. Thank you, Purple Crow. Pastor Bob thinks there won't be anybody at DOJ till Monday morning at 8. Pastor Bob, they promised to send this out at 6 p.m. Then at 6, they promised it by 6:30. So I don't know why they keep promising if they're not going to release anything. If they're not going to release anything, I would think they would at least come out with another announcement. Since, look, and still when you go to the, if you go to the Backpage site, you still get this. It still says 6 EST on Friday on the Backpage site. So they should at least update their message on the Backpage site to not say 6 p.m. EST since it's now 7:51 p.m. EST. And the additional information they provide at 6 p.m. EST is that they would have more information at 6:30. I don't know. I start getting worried when there's when there's an action taken. So the big question with this action is, under what legal justification have they shut down this site? Because it's going to be challenged. Now, maybe they'll end up winning out in court. It's going to be challenged, their legal rationale for shutting down this site. And when they shut it down, they don't publicly give a rationale. Then they say they're going to give one at a certain time, and it keeps getting delayed. That makes me a little suspicious of the rationale. But maybe I'm wrong, because that rationale should be in place right before they seize the site. Sleight of Hand made a donation. Thank you, Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand says, as soon as the DOJ realizes what you're waiting for and you are ready to read it, you know that the mother of all black screens will be dropped. Could be. Tia Marie made a donation. Thank you, Tia Marie. So we are waiting, guys. Backpage.com was shut down today. That's what you get. It's the second biggest classified ads site in the country. Law enforcement just totally shut it down today. We still don't know why. They were supposed to announce it a couple hours ago. They haven't announced it yet. We're waiting to hear from them so we can read you the document. I'm guessing it has something to do with them saying that Backpage is involved with some sort of child trafficking or illegal sex activity. It is a site that's known for people posting personal ads that are actually allegedly sex ads, and some people claim that they've had a lot of child sex trafficking activity that uses the site and prostitution activity that uses the site. So, but they've never been convicted of a crime. They've been charged with things and it's never actually stuck. They've been sued in civil suits, which they've never lost. I don't believe a civil suit regarding their site. So, they did shut down their site today, but they still haven't been convicted of a crime. And I'm interested in what crimes they're charged with. So, and what justification that's being cited to shut down the site. But we don't know that yet. We're waiting. Sally P. made a donation and said Backpage JoanJet. I don't know what JoanJet means, but thank you, Sally P. Linda made a donation and said thank you, Steve, and RSBN. So we're just waiting here to see why they did this, what their reasoning is, and waiting for them to release their document that was supposed to be released 2 hours ago and an hour and a half ago. Thank you, Denoini Raptor, for your supportive message. And Rachel. Oh, by the way, Captain Graybeard sent me this. I just want you to see this if you haven't. We're not going to get into it right now. But Texas National Guard says they will deploy 250 personnel to the border with Mexico within the next 72 hours. That's just in. So just so you know. Little news. Thank you, Captain Graybeard, for sending that in while we're on the air covering this. David Defectio writes in, backstage precedent was set from the Disrupt J20 org raids, which I know nothing about. They demanded IPs from activists. Believe anyone who used Backstage will be investigated. Raise 547. Yeah, we already read an article about Cindy McCain. But I can show people something about that. It was so long ago now. This was from Arizona Central. So we read this before, but in case you haven't seen it yet, FBI today also raided the Backpage founders' homes in Arizona, website seized. And where's the quote from Cindy McCain? Here it is. Cindy McCain, wife of Senator John McCain and an outspoken advocate against human trafficking, said she had heard that federal law enforcement officials had raided not only had raided every office of Backpage worldwide. She called it a good day in the fight against human trafficking. And she said she had tried to work with Lacey and Larkin to get Backpage to change its business model, but the company consistently refused. I wish it didn't have to go this far, McCain said. I wish they would have cooperated with us when we tried to get them to see they needed to stop this. So Backpage when they were online before today, they did charge for personals ads. And so people would post ads on their personal site and pay for them. They eliminated their... oops, I didn't want to do that. I wasn't thinking. Now I allowed notifications. I have to fix that later from Arizona Central. I have to write that down so I don't get a million notifications. They shut down in January, Backpage.com, their adult section, but they left their personal section up. I think they thought that they might get the feds might get not like the ads on their adult section, and they thought they were at risk by continuing to have an adult section. So they kept their personal section up, but they were still charging for ads, I believe, in their personal section. And I guess people might have been posting ads in the personal section, which were actually originally in the adult section. Like, we saw somebody had sent me before a cache version of the site. So here's a version of the site from last year, I think it was. And we actually looked into the dating ads. So this is the site. This is a page of Backpage.com from the Women Seeking Men Personals section from last year. You'll see it pop up in a second. So Lawrence, Kansas, Women Seeking Men. This was last year. But you can see it's like blue-eyed blonde Barbie ready to play. Exotic BBW. A Florida Italian beauty available now. My name is Molly. I can be your daily dose of ecstasy. So these don't really look like a lot of dating ads so much as maybe just like some sort of sex ads, massage and much more. So again, this was what an example of a Backpage.com personals page looked like last year. This isn't even the adult page; it's the personals. It's the women looking for men. So, but the question is, were they doing anything illegal at Backpage.com, which would warrant the site being shut down? And we're still waiting to hear from the Justice Department what they were doing illegal that warranted the site being shut down. We don't know yet. And there are, one of our viewers has sent me, Revier Soul has sent me a couple articles about people involved with Backpage being charged with crimes, but I think that all the charges haven't stuck. So this is an article from January 2017. U.S. Senate probe concludes Backpage knowingly concealed evidence of criminality, but they have not been convicted of any crimes at Backpage. Oh, it's another black screen on YouTube. Sorry, folks. YouTube is putting another black screen on. They keep doing this to us. They hate us so much. Hey, guys. Sorry about the black screen again. That was YouTube again, doing their same BS. Here's what you should do. If you're watching us on YouTube, go back to the black screen. Where'd it go? Pause it on the black screen. Right-click. Troubleshoot playback issue. And then you get a feedback form. You've put on this broadcast. Fix it already, you stupid morons. I hate YouTube. And then press send, and it sends it. Good. So as far as I'm aware, no criminal charges have ever stuck against Backpage.com. David Defectio says, site takedown doesn't have to come from U.S., can be seized under international agencies, but this wasn't seized by international agencies. This notice says it was seized by the FBI, working with other U.S. agencies. Ryan Lovesey made a donation, said, hey, YouTube, go demonize. Wow, some more vegans. Too soon, Ryan? But thank you for the donation, Ryan. Or demonetize, you said, not demonize. So, for those of you just joining, we are literally waiting. The question I've had all day, and a lot of people have had all day, is, okay, you shut down Backpage.com, FBI, under what legal justification are you using for this? We'd be interested in knowing. I'm sure they have some, but we don't know. The whole day they've had this ad up, or this notice up on Backpage.com that said, we'll give you more details at 6 p.m. EST. 6 p.m. EST came, and then they messaged a bunch of reporters saying, we'll have the document with the charges against Backpage.com and the legal reasoning by 6:30. It is now 8:02 p.m. We have seen nothing yet, which makes me suspicious. Also, I got to say this. Look, I think if you're the federal government or any government entity, and you shut down something people use, your citizens use, you at least owe the citizens an explanation of why you're doing it. You have to have a reason for doing it, so you at least owe the citizens an explanation. And it's kind of just jerky to people who use that site for whatever reason they're using it for, to just shut it down and then not give them a reason, then tell them, oh, we'll have a reason at 6, and then 6 comes, and they say, we're going to have it at 6:30, and then 6:30 comes, and then it's 8, and you haven't even bothered telling people why. If you're going to shut stuff down that people use, at least explain why you're doing it with some sort of promptness. I mean, I think they should have explained why they're doing it during the day-to-day, if they were going to shut it down. You know, a lot of people use that site. It's a big part of their life, so, whatever. Just explain. You're going to have to explain it anyway, so you might as well explain it sooner rather than later. That's just my opinion. Oh, one of our viewers said, told me to look at Backpage on Twitter. Hashtag Backpage, I think. Hang on a second. Somebody else says I should call the number. Deplorable Shady Lady said, look at hashtag Backpage on Twitter. The women are advertising themselves right there. But somebody else said, Brevard, Florida for Trump says, wouldn't it be quicker to call that number? It's telling the media to call for further info. I'm going to call that number right now. I bet it's going to be a message, but I'm going to call it anyway. Where is that message there? Sorry. The one time I want to find the... Here it is. It says, call the Justice's Office of Public Affairs. I have a media inquiry, so I'm going to call this number. 202-514-2007. Good idea. I bet it's going to be a message. They got to at least have a voice.
Hello, you've reached the Department of Justice Public Affairs office. I'm sorry we missed you. Our hours of operation are from 8:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you have an urgent message, please reach out to our night duty officer, who can be reached at 202514-2000. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hi, this is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. We're just waiting for more information on why you shut down Backpage.com today. We want to tell our viewers about it who are watching our broadcast right now. You had said on your message on their site it was going to be you can have information by 6 p.m. It's now 8:06, and then I know you sent a message to a couple of reporters saying you'd have information within the next half an hour. So we're just waiting. We were wondering if you were going to send out this information soon because we would love to report on it. So again, you don't have to contact us, but if there's any way you can get that document out, we would love to see it and be able to share it with our viewers. So thank you. Have a good night. That's a good message, right? They're not going to listen to it. But anyways. Maybe somebody checks it tonight and they say, we should, let's release the thing. Well, it was a good idea to call the number. What if they just don't release the thing tonight? That's a giant FU if they don't release the thing tonight. Brevard for Florida for Trump says, oh, well, it was worth a try. Yeah, it was. Oh, so we're going to look up, Deplorable Shady Lady said I should look up hashtag Backpage on Twitter and see what people are doing there. So there's a lot of, reportedly, a number of people like sex workers, voluntary sex workers at least, who use Backpage who are kind of freaking out a bit because that's where they get their clients. And so you see there's a bunch of posts on Twitter of people posting things. Let me see if I can find anything here to show you. Here's something. This was posted by Uncounted Whistleblowers. And it's a message from somebody named Cameron Olson. It says, I feel for all those who paid for advanced advertising on Cracker and Backpage. Many are struggling. This will have huge implications. Clients, we need your support more than ever. Make sure you have contact details for your preferred provider. So a lot of people, I guess people did buy advertising in advance. They've already paid for their ads on Backpage, and now like their site's shut down. So here's an adult. It looks like some sort of adult star. I don't know, it's star or adult something or other. Professional service provider, Curvy Amanda Rose. Fetish and 420 friendly. So I don't know exactly what she does. It looks like something in the sex industry. But she says, thanks to all my true fans and clients, sad to hear Backpage has been taken over by the U.S. government. No more ads. But at the same time, think of all the legit ladies who lost their credits, some hundreds of dollars, another way to block moms trying to feed their kids. See, these are just some of the people. I mean, I know there's some people pleased with this. There's also some people upset about it. This is somebody named Krista Price, who she says she studies human trafficking, and she's also unhappy with this today. And she says, this just made it so much more difficult to find and investigate trafficking. It's shockingly ill-informed to think this does anything to decrease the problem I've devoted my life to eliminating. But other people would say that this site is contributing to human trafficking, and they think shutting it down will help prevent that and or lessen the amount of that happening. Anyways, do we have a Justice Department document yet on this? Oh, good. Melissa Gira Grant posted something else. She says one of the groups who helped pass SESTA law, which is it's not a law yet because it hasn't been signed by the president, is having a press conference right now in D.C. But I can't show you a Facebook press conference from another group on this. And we already read you this statement on the Backpage seizure from the national. It's something to do. It's like something with National Council Missing Kids. What is it? They should have their name. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They say this is another step in the years-long fight against the exploitation of child victims who were bought and sold for sex on Backpage. So they are happy about this. And supposedly they've been working on this issue for years, according to Larry Magid, who's a tech journalist. Well, guys, we're just waiting. Oh, Tom Willis says Cracker.com has been shut down. I don't know what Cracker.com is. Let's see. So this is what you get when you go to Cracker.com. I don't know what this is. This domain name has been seized. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who these. This is not like the FBI saying this. Oh, maybe that's a fake thing because a photo came up. I don't know what to do. Anyways, I know nothing about it. It's an ad. John McCain, whose wife is very involved in the preventing human trafficking, he has just released a tweet. The seizure of the malicious sex marketplace Backpage.com marks an important step forward in the fight against human trafficking. This builds on the historic effort in Congress to reform the law that too long has protected websites like Backpage from being held liable for enabling the sale of young women and children. Today's action sends a strong message to Backpage and any other company facilitating online sex trafficking that they will be held accountable for these horrific crimes. Although we don't yet know the legal reasoning used to shut down the site yet today, because we don't have that yet because the Justice Department hasn't released their document that they were supposed to release an hour and a half ago. Hour and 45 minutes ago, actually. All right, what else did I want to look up here? Are they just not going to release this tonight? Is that what's going to happen? Are they just trolling us at the Justice Department? Do people, a little viewer poll, do you think the Justice Department is really going to release this document tonight that they said they were explaining all the charges and why they shut down the website or not? What do you think? You tell me. I'm going to open up the Facebook chat now, too, and check that. So viewer poll, do you think the Justice Department is just not going to come out with it tonight, even though they said they were going to? Sally P says yes. We have a yes. We have a no in Periscope from KT. The Glitch says no. Randy Jude, they have not yet. There's a bunch of no's in the YouTube chat. Randy, they haven't. They haven't come out with it yet. Wow, most people are voting no in YouTube chat. Daniel Knight in Facebook says no. Wow, this is a very strong no. Seymour Butt says, someone screwed up with that notice. Oh, ABC Mole says they will. I'd say over 90% are saying no. On Facebook chat, people are saying no too. Yep. Well, no, it looks like no is winning the viewer poll decisively. It's very odd, though. They said they were going to. Mary Ann in the Facebook chat says, the key word in all of this, no matter how the cake is cut, is censorship. No matter if the page is good or bad, this is the beginnings of censorship. Daniel Knight says, I'd probably call it a night, Steve. One of our viewers on Periscope said he went to Backpage to look for a pistol today, and boom, the site was gone. I'm going to give it a few more minutes here. Maybe they're really waiting us out at the Justice Department. Somebody's watching us, and as soon as we get off the air, they'll release it. I don't really think that's happening. What happened here? Hang on a second here. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up some things here. I have too many windows open. I don't even have the energy to summarize the story anymore because we've already been on for like 2 hours and 45 minutes, so I apologize. But you can always go back and watch the beginning of the stream. We're just waiting to hear why they did this. Oh, boy. So sad. Just looking for different things. I'm seeing nothing. Seeing nothing. Bonnie Nutter says, will you come back on as soon as they release the document? I'll try to get on the air. I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it depends, maybe it won't be right the second it comes out, but I'll try to get on the air when they come out with it, if they don't by the end of this broadcast. I mean, at a certain point. Let me just show you, though, again. So just to give you the timeline here. To give you the timeline here on what we're waiting for. When they shut down the website today, they didn't explain why they were shutting it down. They said additional information will be provided around 6 p.m. on Friday Eastern Time. Then 6 p.m. came and went, and then they messaged some reporters like Melissa Gira Grant. Actually, I'll show you Evan Y. Loge's one. He says, just got an email from U.S. Department of Justice indicating there are charges and they will be unsealed in 30 minutes. In the email they got said, the only info to report is that the website has been seized as per the banner. Thank you. That's from a spokesman of the Department of Justice. And supposedly within 30 minutes after 6 p.m., they were supposed to unseal the charges. See, when the charges become, they said it was going to be 30 minutes, but no word after that. So, the point is that it's a controversial move to just shut down a website because it's a website that had been, authorities had gone after before and nothing had ever stuck. It seems like there's that I'm guessing there will at least whatever argument the authorities give for shutting it down, there's going to be an argument to be made on the other side. Now, I don't know who's going to win in court, but there is this burden on the authorities to provide a legal justification for what they're doing. And right now we just have no legal justification for it. So I'd really be interested in knowing what they're doing. And I'm interested in knowing what changed if they've wanted to shut this site down for a while. Why did they do it now? What changed that allowed them to do it now? If it wasn't a new law, because I don't believe it was a new law. So what changed? And what changed in their reasoning that they felt it was legally justifiable to shut it down now, whereas they didn't do it last year? So I'd be interested in knowing what changed. But we don't know because they haven't released anything. Anyways. Thank you, by the way, to our moderators who've been with us. JC, Lynn, Jean, and Jude have all been with us. Thank you. Thank you to those who donated too. We are viewer supported. So I guarantee you're not going to see this much coverage of this story in the mainstream media tonight, as we've been seeing here. So if you like that you have an alternative to the mainstream media, please consider donating. You can support Right Side by going to the bottom of the YouTube chat. Click on the dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Privacy says, interesting that other websites have taken proactive action in light of this law. Well, the law you're talking about is this as we talked about, this FOSTA law. There was a law that Congress passed in March, I think February and March. House and Senate passed it, but that hasn't become the law yet. But in anticipation of it becoming the law, for example, Craigslist shut down its personal site because they don't want to be liable for anything on its personal site. But that law can't be why the Justice Department shut down this site today, because it's not the law yet. The president hasn't signed it. David Defectio said, Wilfred, who told us about, who gave us the information on that FOSTA law being presented to the president on April 3rd, he says, Wilfred was top contributor tonight, but he sent me a picture of Wilfred Brimley. See, this is what I have to deal with, is somebody in the chat room is yelling at me in all caps, time zone on the West Coast is different from East Coast. Hello! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Telling me I'm such an idiot because I don't realize that the Justice Department was saying 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm such an idiot. And I don't realize that. Hello, Steve. That's what I have to deal with here all night. Like half the comments are like that. But for the millionth time, as I explained to you, it says 6 p.m. EST. So you're sending me a yelling message in capitals saying, hello, when in fact you're 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. Jean Diata says, Backpage clearly is a long-time known sex trafficking site. The petition is from 6 years ago. Now, whether or not there was sex trafficking advertising going on the site is not necessarily the issue here. Because the issue is, legally, was the site doing anything illegal? Because there is this Section 230 of the Communication of Decency Act, which says basically that sites aren't responsible. No provider or user of an interactive computer service, like Backpage.com, shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Which basically says if you're a site where people are posting messages, you're not responsible for you're not, if somebody posts a message involving something illegal, you're not treated as the person who posted the message or the entity that posted the message. So they've used that to avoid being liable for people who post messages on their site, which might turn out to be, advertising human trafficking. So the big question is not whether people were using their site to advertise sex services and even to advertise human trafficking. It's whether, first of all, and I think, by the way, I don't think legally they might not be allowed to have ads that say, "Hey, we have a 13-year-old girl for sale," because that's it's obviously something illegal. But if somebody puts up an ad saying come meet, hey, there's a nice woman, I want you to come meet me, and they say nothing, and it turns out that she's underage, and there was no way it didn't say that in the ad, the point would be that you can't blame the site for that because they're not the person who posted the ad that was designed to get somebody to participate in human trafficking. So the issue is not whether people were using their site to advertise human trafficking. The issue is, were they doing anything illegal on the site itself? And I haven't heard the reasoning yet why they were, because the Justice Department refuses to release it. Which seems kind of lame if you ask me, because I think if you're going to shut down a site a lot of people use, you at least owe people an explanation of why you're doing so. I mean, does anybody like the idea of the government just shutting things down and not at least explaining why they're doing so? I think explanations are nice. Georgia Sky says they were moderating erasing the child part of ads. So there's this question of, look, there's been accusations that they helped adjust the ads to take the parts, certain parts out of them so that the authorities wouldn't come after them. Now maybe that's part of the charges. I don't know. I would like to know what the charges are. Oh my gosh. No, Musashi, they still haven't said anything about why they did this. Nothing. Nothing at all. No explanation given to people. Thank you, Tom Hayes, for sending me a nice message. Twist X writes, investigators say the site lost protection when they alerted posters to key terms related to child sex trafficking. Now maybe that's true. I don't know how the law works. Do they? I mean, do you lose legal protection by doing that? I don't know. That's why I want to hear the actual reasoning behind it. And Arizona Native just sent me this. There was a post on the site called AZ Family, and there's a tweet out about some criminal charges. I don't know where this information is coming from, though. So Steve Kraft says, federal case in Phoenix, 93-count indictment, 7 defendants. But where are these people getting this? So this person posted it, but there's no citations and no document. Arizona Family posted some details like this, but there's no citations and no document. So are they looking at a document that hasn't been publicly released? If so, how did they get it? If they're looking at a document, why don't, if Arizona Family has a document, why don't they just publish it? So I'm not going to trust these things as being, and also that doesn't tell you why Backpage.com is shut down. It says 93-count indictment with 7 defendants. That just tells you that people were charged with crimes. That doesn't give you any legal reasoning about why the site was shut down. That's what I want to know. Royal Kitty sent me this. This is from back in 2016 when the state of California charged corporate officers of Backpage.com with crimes, but this charge was dismissed. These charges were dismissed. So that doesn't have anything to do with what's happening today. Well, guys, I'm increasingly thinking that we're not going to hear anything about this tonight. That we're not going to hear anything from the Justice Department. So, anyways, I apologize, but that's I think where we're going. So I think at this point I'm going to wrap up the stream because I'm not going to sit here and wait for the Justice Department for the next 60 hours to come out with something. For all I know, they'll come out with it on Monday. Oh, let's see if Melissa Gira Grant posted anything new. No, nothing new from her. Anyways, so sorry we didn't get you the Justice Department's reasoning for shutting down the site. That was really the big thing we were looking for since 2.5 hours ago, but they haven't come out with it. So maybe when I finally do get it, I will come back on and talk to you about it and tell you about it. Anyways, appreciate you all joining us. Sorry if I got a little upset, but it's hard to listen to repeated messages over and over, telling you what an idiot you are in all caps and saying hello, saying the same things over and over, which actually are wrong. But if I hear more about this, I will let you know. So be sure you can also follow me on Twitter. I'll post updates about it at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. You should also, another person who's covering this is Melissa Gira Grant. I would advise, I can give you 2 people to follow on Twitter. Hang on. I'll tell you 2 people to follow if you want to hear about updates, because they're updating stuff on this. Follow Melissa Gira Grant. She's covering this at Melissa Gira. And Evan Y. Loge is covering it. Evan Y. Loge. He's covering it. So you can follow both of them on Twitter. Tell them Steve sent you. Follow them and me. We'll give you updates as we hear them. And thanks to those of you who donated. We appreciate the donations. Your donations keep us on the air, so thank you. And thank you to our moderators who've been with us the whole time, Jude and Lynn Jean and JC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for everybody who sent in your comments and let me read them. Much appreciated there. Thank you, people, for saying thank you. Thank you, Mike Blah, in the Periscope chat. Thank you, Tia Marie, Carrie Bella, Swoosh. Linda, Daily Red Pill, Flying Eagle, I Am Nacho, Kekistani, JC, Bethany, Dragon 32Z, Justin Miller, KSS, Light Switch, Wayniac Geringer, Marianne, Tom Hayes, John K, PJ, Margie Williams, 7 Up Me, C Vinco, I Am Nacho. Kim Duncan, you missed it. We already called the night. You want me to call the night duty person? That's not going to help. Kim, come on, that's not going to help. Lynn Jean, thank you. Willie Waterbug, thank you. Lisa Levesque, thank you. Case Critters. Benjamin Thomas Allen, thank you. Carl Peterson, thank you. Jai All Dim, thank you. Allie, thank you. Mike says Allie said hi. Thank you, Allie. Battle Axe Warriors is mad that I said somebody twice. Well, what can you do? All right, wrapping this up for now. Who knows when we'll hear from the Justice Department on this. I hope we hear at some point. So anyways, if there's breaking news later on or this weekend, we will come on the air and cover it. But for now, thank you for watching. Everybody, thank you, David Wagner in Periscope chat. And that's going to wrap up the broadcast right now. Sorry we never got heard from the Justice Department. It's not our fault. It's too bad we couldn't read what they said. I hope they tell us soon. All right, we'll keep an eye on this Backpage story. And we'll see you soon with more news. Have a great night and a great weekend from everybody here at Right Side Broadcasting. See you soon.